Good Wednesday morning, Central Georgia. You're taking a live look over the city of Dublin. The time is now 6:30 a.m. here on this October the 5th. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Wanye Reese heading out the door this morning, Central Georgia. I'm going to spoil it for you. It's a beautiful morning. You just need a jacket and a nice hot cup of coffee, Alex.
Yeah, that's right. Temperatures in the 40s and in the 50s this morning across the area, including in Dublin, where we're looking live right now. About 46 degrees, a dew point of 45. So not only is our air cool, it is also very dry out there. We've got 49 in Warner Robins, 50 to get your morning started in Twiggs County, 46 in Wilkinson County, as well as in Lawrence, 48 up in Washington County, 52 over in Butler this morning. Down towards the south, we've got 49 in Unadilla and in Cordele here on this Wednesday morning. Roll into the radar picture. Not much going on out there. Not going to be looking at much through the day today either. High pressure to the north. That's keeping a northerly wind in place here across central Georgia. Temperatures fairly nice across the southeast this morning as well. As we head through the day today, look for a high temperature right around 80. That'll come your way around 4 p.m. Our average high is 83 for this time of year. So in the ballpark. And notice I put a few leaves on the ground here. Yeah, I was driving up 75 yesterday. I was looking around. I was like, wow, there's actually some color in the trees. So yeah, I headed there as into the beginning of October. Again, mostly sunny, similar to yesterday's sunrise is at 7:31. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll be talking about a warmer end to the week and a cold front. It's on the way. I've got Future View here in a few minutes.
Thank you, Alex. We'll check in with you soon. This morning, an update to an hour-long search in Centerville that we've been following. Houston County fire crews found the body of a man who drowned in a pond. Coroner James Williams says the victim is 58-year-old Richard Doherty of Warner Robins. The Centerville fire chief says two men went fishing at Ode Higgins Pond on Willow Glen Drive when the boat started to fill up with water. Sergeant Bubba Stanford with the DNR says the boat turned over. One man got out of the boat and began to swim to shore, but when he looked back, Doherty was gone. First responders searched the shore, then sent a Houston Fire Department diver in.
It is a pond that's been there a while, and it's just very difficult to get out to it. The access, as you can see, is very limited around the whole pond.
Yeah, please sending prayers to his family. And DNR responded with sonar technology and a sector scan, while GSP brought in a helicopter to assist in the search. Right now, the victim who died in an overnight crash into a tree has been identified as 32-year-old Chasten David Floyd. Deputies say Floyd was driving a red Nissan Titan on Hartley Bridge Road when he lost control, went off the road and hit a tree. Coroner Lonnie Malley declared him dead on the scene. Right now, the crash is still under investigation. This morning, a man is dead after a car crash in Putnam County. Putnam County Sheriff Howard Stills says 26-year-old Jermaine Mathis of Eatonton was driving a Kia Optima on Harmony Road when he crossed the center line and into oncoming traffic yesterday morning. Then he hit a car. Mathis later died at a hospital. An air ambulance flew the driver of the other car to the hospital. Right now, we don't know how bad his injuries are, but we are working to learn his condition for you. It's 6:33 with just over a month before the midterm elections. A new accusation is circulating online here in our state. Republican candidate Herschel Walker is denying a report he paid for a girlfriend's abortion in 2009 and says that he plans to sue the Daily Beast. The Daily Beast says a woman showed the reporter a receipt up for the procedure, a get well card from Walker, and bank deposit records showing a personal check from Walker 5 days after the procedure. It says the woman told them Walker encouraged her to end the pregnancy, saying the time wasn't right for a baby. Walker expressed support for a national ban on abortions with no exceptions. In a tweet, Walker calls the report a lie and a Democratic attack. Walker's son, Christian, who is a conservative TikTok influencer, posted several times since the story broke. He's denouncing his father's campaign and calling him a liar.
People on the right are pulling up that I did a campaign event with my dad last year, and they're saying, well, you supported them all last year and all this year. You look suspicious. No, you all have been calling me saying, why aren't you on the campaign trail with your dad?
Conservative analysts say the coming days could be critical for Walker's campaign, who trails incumbent Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock by 2 points. Well, meanwhile, there's two candidates running for the Georgia House District 144 seat. The winner will replace Republican Danny Mathis. The new district covers parts of 3 counties. That's Macon, Bibb, Monroe, and Jones. The Republican is Dale Washburn, who currently holds the seat as representative of District 141. The Democratic candidate is Nettie Connor. The first issue that we talked to them about is current shortages in Georgia's labor market. Both candidates say their solutions include more training.
We should be broadening our look to thinking about more in the way of apprenticeships, people having on-the-job training, and generally just try to be sure that we are providing the necessary training needed.
Give them the training. It's not that they don't want to. It's not like they don't want the work, but they want their work to be meaningful. And so give them the tools that they need in which to get those jobs that they know they can make a career of.
Just as a reminder, Election Day is going to be on November the 8th, so let's go ahead and take a look at a few other dates that you'll want to keep in mind. Applications are now open if you want to request an absentee ballot until October the 11th. Early voting begins on October the 17th and continues through November the 4th. Every Georgia county will hold Saturday voting on October the 22nd and October the 29th. Then there are 2 optional days for Sunday voting hours. It's now 6:36. Let's get a check of your state news. In Atlanta, a former Atlanta gynecologist and a licensed pharmacist pleaded guilty to running a pill mill since 2018. Officials say the gynecologist would prescribe large amounts of drugs like oxycodone to people he never met. His patients would then get their prescriptions filled by the pharmacist with inflated prices. The Department of Justice says criminal charges are pending for 8 more people involved. The Georgia Supreme Court released a decision upholding the death penalty and murder conviction of a Baldwin County man yesterday. A jury found Brian Dwayne Brookins guilty of murdering his wife Sandra Brookins and 15-year-old stepdaughter Samantha Giles back in 2005. Brookins tried to appeal the decision, claiming he was mentally ill and asked for his death penalty sentence to be removed. Right now, courts uphold the life sentence for a Bibb County man who ordered the killing of a Bibb County employee. So in 2015, Curtis Jackson and several other men went to confront warrants clerk Bernard Mays at his home over a missing gun. Mays said he didn't know anything about it and told Jackson told the others to shoot him. Jackson pleaded guilty to the murder but appealed his life sentence. Well, this morning, the Macon Water Authority adopted a new plan to raise fines for anyone dumping trash. This comes after crews spent hours cleaning storm drains ahead of possible impacts from Hurricane Ian.
Observation has showed us that a lot of landscaping companies are simply blowing their grass clippings into the storm drains, which stops up the storm drains, which causes flooding.
Commissioner Bill Howell of the Macon Water Authority sponsored this ordinance. He says one way the Water Authority is trying to educate people on how little things can affect the storm drainage system. Howell says the flooding on Zebulon Road was caused by about 3 bales of hay, but he says if they knew how they got there, that person or company would have gotten a fine. Now that fine, it's up to $250. A project hoping to support future educators. Stick with us as our morning reporter TJ Anthony shows you the program and how to get involved. Plus, our junior journalist Abigail Brooke tells you all about what the Critter Fixers will be doing here in Macon. The time is now 6:38 a.m. We have a lot of events as usual planned this weekend here in Central Georgia, Alex. And man, weather seems like it's going to be picture perfect.
I was going to say, yeah, it's actually a little abnormal to see temperatures this cool for the beginning of October. But not that anybody's complaining, except for maybe the folks up in Blairsville this morning. Look at that number, 37. That is here in Georgia right now, 37 degrees up there in the mountains, 48 in Athens, 53 in Atlanta, as well as in Savannah. It is a cool October morning. Here's a live look over in Dublin. Depending which way you look at the screen, you can see the sun beginning to come up somewhere over there. When I was standing over there just a second ago, I could see it a little bit better. Now, not so much, but it's there, I promise. Here over the next hour or so, we're going to be looking at the sunrise. We've got, again, temperatures in the 40s and 50s, 49 in Macon and in Warner Robins, 46 where we're looking live in Dublin. The radar picture, no complaints out there this morning. The surface map, we've got high pressure to the north. That's what's helping usher in this northerly wind, keeping us dry here in central Georgia, but we are watching some clouds, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama. I expect those will expand as we head through the morning hours here in the southeast. We've got that coastal storm up in the northeast. Wind and rain up there today, temperatures in the 50s or so. I'm very happy we're down here and not up there. Here's a look at what to expect through the day today. Into the 70s by the noon hour, 73 itself. Then once we get into the afternoon, I'm forecasting a high temperature somewhere right around 80, a few clouds through the overnight hours. Tomorrow morning, potentially a few degrees cooler than we are this morning here in central Georgia, 46 or so. And once we head into the afternoon, a few degrees warmer. So that's going to be the trend. A few degrees cooler in the morning, a few degrees warmer, and we'll keep that going here through the next several days, including rolling into Friday and on into Friday night, football Friday night here in central Georgia with some clouds. But once we get into Saturday, things begin to change a little bit. Notice some clouds here oriented from the southwest to the northeast, sliding to the southeast. That's a cold front coming through. Now what this front's going to do is actually drop our temperatures a fair amount, but it's not going to be bringing any rainfall with it because our air is far too dry for that. So as it arrives, we're going to be looking at our high temperatures go from the mid 80s back down to the mid 70s by the time we get to Sunday. The cool mornings continue for the next few mornings, but then notice they warm up a bit, oddly enough, as the cold front comes through. That's because of the cloud cover. That's not going to allow our temperatures to cool quite as much through the overnight hours. Watching this disturbance down in the Caribbean, it's got an 80% chance of development over the next 5 days, but notice it's moving due west here and towards Honduras, Nicaragua, so not a concern for us here in the United States. We also have Tropical Depression 12. Also not a concern for us here in the United States. It is going to dissipate here in the coming days. Here's your school bus forecast for the day ahead. A high temperature right around 80 degrees. Sunrise at 7:31 this morning. A light wind out of the north-northwest at about 5 miles an hour. And here is your forecast for the fair. Of course, it gets underway tomorrow, the next 3 days. Some pretty nice temperatures. 82 there on Thursday, 86 on Friday, and 81 on Saturday with that increased cloud cover. And the nice weather is going to continue as the fair continues back down into the 70s next week. 78 for Sunday. 78 for Monday. The average high for this time of year is about 83, so above that there on Friday, otherwise below average here in central Georgia.